hour was brought to you by the KFC Value Menu. Grab a chicken box, famous bowl, crunch sandwich, or small popcorn chicken with combos starting at just $620. KFC. It's finger licking good.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the search party trying to find 12-year-old Jaden Smith has now expanded to more than 100 people.
An eyewitness is alleged to have spotted the missing boy.
Based on who I spoke with, Jaden was seen along this Wesley Road area here last night. When they raised the alarm, he started to run.
The JLP has accused the PNP of vulgar hypocrisy for criticizing the interdiction of Dr. O.J. Dixon.
The people of Jamaica cannot trust them. They are a morally bankrupt political organization.
The government says the country's recent credit upgrade is a sign of its global strength.
PSOJ President Metri Siaga rejects John Mahfoud's suggestion to cut public sector jobs.
In the news from the rest of the world, Trump says U.S. is in armed conflict with drug cartels after ordering strikes in the Caribbean.
Hundreds of activists heading to Gaza have been detained by Israel.
In headline sports, Jamaica avoids big guns in Women's World Cup qualifying group draw.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the Independent Fiscal Commission is warning of potential shortfalls in government revenues and capital spending. It believes this could have an impact on meeting budgeted targets. We'll hear from the country's Fiscal Commissioner, Courtney Williams.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, would you support a cut in public sector jobs to boost economic growth? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, over 100 students from Manchester High School have joined a search party trying to find 12-year-old Jaden Smith. The boy has been missing since Friday. The school's principal, Jasford Gabriel, will join us.
At 7, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says the country must defeat rising anti-Semitic hate after 2 people were killed and 4 others injured in an attack at a Manchester synagogue on Thursday. You'll hear more.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, RevoNews.ai, and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, October 2, 2025.
The hour is brought to you by the KFC Value Menu. Grab a chicken box, famous bowl, crunch sandwich, or small popcorn chicken with combos starting at just $620. KFC. It's finger licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. More than 100 students from Manchester High School have joined the search party trying to find 12-year-old Jaden Smith. Jaden, a student at the Mandeville-based high school, has been missing since last Friday. The school's principal, Jasford Gabriel, says an eyewitness is alleged to have spotted Jaden Wednesday night.
Now we have about 102 students and about 15 members of staff, and as you can see, there's a large contingent of police officers, maybe about 50 or so. Conclusively, based on who I spoke with, Jaden was seen along this Wesley Road area here last night. When they raised the alarm, he started to run. One of my staff workers at school saw him, and she said that she had gotten some help from one of the male persons that was on the road that was going in the other direction. They could have held on to him, but by the time they could have done anything, he disappeared somewhere in the area.
Mr. Gabriel believes the search will end with the boy being found alive and safe.
The positive we take from that is that he's alive. We are happy for that, and we think we are getting closer and closer to having a breakthrough. And so we are combing the area with a number of eyes, as we have said, and the expectation is that we will find him. We want to see him and grab him. And then we will take it from there because, as you can imagine, the school community is quite uneasy. We're not so happy when one member suffers, the entire community feels it. We believe that we are nearing to getting a breakthrough in this matter.
Jasford Gabriel, principal of Manchester High.
The Jamaica Labour Party JLP has described the PNP's condemnation of the interdiction of Dr. O.J. Dixon as vulgar and hypocritical. The governing party says it's the latest indication that their opposition counterparts cannot be trusted. In a statement today, the JLP accused the PNP of conveniently applying principles when it serves their political interest. Robian Williams reports.
Government Senator Marlon Morgan points to past instances where the PNP supported or pursued sanctions against JLP members under similar circumstances.
This same PNP in 2020 had written to the political ombudsman seeking to have Rhoda Moy Crawford sanctioned when she had announced intention to enter representational politics. Let us also not forget that in 2018, with no objection from the PNP, there was a public call for the resignation of then OPM Director of Communication, Mr. Robert Morgan, after he announced his intention to enter representational politics. Recently, Councillor Dean Jones' status as councillor was revoked when this same PNP took him to court arguing that he was a public sector worker at the time of his election and that was deemed to have been in contravention of the rules.
Dixon was interdicted by the South Regional Health Authority following his candidacy in the September 3 general election. In allowing himself to be nominated as a parliamentary candidate, Dixon contravened the Public Service Staff Orders. Those orders bar public officials from engaging in political activity. The PNP has called for his reinstatement, arguing the interdiction was a breach of the junior doctor's constitutional rights. But Senator Morgan says Dixon's interdiction came after clear guidance was issued by the Health Ministry a year before the election.
At no point when they sought to have members of the Jamaica Labour Party adversely impacted by the same section of the public sector staff orders that have now been applied to Dr. Dixon did they, the PNP, raise the issue of constitutionality regarding said provisions. The latest stance of Zuleika Jest and the PNP are but another example and reminder as to why the people of Jamaica cannot trust them. They are a morally bankrupt political organization which is prepared to adjust their position not based on principle, but in accordance with what they consider to be popular or politically convenient at different points in time.
The senator says the matter highlights the need for wider discussions on reforming the public service staff orders.
The time has come for the PNP to act on principle. This is an opportune moment for the PNP to embrace the Constitutional Reform Committee as it is well placed to provide a forum for sober, responsible and forward-looking dialogue and build consensus on issues such as the Public Service Staff Orders reform and make a determination as to which categories of public sector workers we could allow going forward to publicly engage in political activities, including contesting elections, in much the same way that teachers, for example, are able to do at present.
Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
The Information Minister, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, says the recent upgrade in Jamaica's credit rating by international ratings agency Standard & Poor's is an indication of the country's positive global standing.
Standard & Poor's Global Ratings upgraded Jamaica's sovereign credit rating from BB- to BB. Now, many people don't understand what that means, but it means that our country, our sovereign credit rating is better than many European countries. It's better than other Caribbean countries. Jamaica is one that is seen globally as leading in relation to our sovereign credit rating.
Jamaica's new double B rating is an improvement from the double B minus, rating ascribed to the country's long-term foreign and local currency sovereign credit in September last year. Standard & Poor's noted that Jamaica stands out as the only country among 141 rated sovereigns to achieve an annual primary surplus above 3% of GDP for 10 consecutive years. Minister Morris Dixon says Jamaica is well on its way to achieving investment grade.
When we look at our debt to GDP ratio going from 145% in 2013 to 62%. When we get to 60%, we'll be at investment grade. We never dreamed that Jamaica would be at investment grade. This is amazing. This is a big deal. When we get to 60, it means that we will be investment grade. It means we won't have to worry about what interest rate we're going to be getting. It is a place we never thought we would be in. And so we, as a government, we're celebrating it. We congratulate our Prime Minister because he stuck to this.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, the Minister with Responsibility for Information, she was speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing yesterday.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says Jamaicans are more confident than ever in the government's ability to conduct itself on a global stage. Prime Minister Holness was speaking at the reception of the Consulate General of Jamaica in New York last week.
Whatever issues there are that affect Jamaicans, they know that their government has the ability to have access in important areas, can speak with world leaders, and can bring our position in such a way that we are not seen as extreme, we are not seen as dogmatic and ideological, but people who are businesslike, serious, people who will engage in dialogue and meaningful discussions. People who are seen as understanding how the world works.
The Prime Minister's comments come amid criticism of the government's decision not to walk out on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech at the UN General Assembly. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith defended the decision, saying the move was consistent with the country's long-standing diplomatic practice. Prime Minister Holness told the diaspora members that they too benefit from the successes Jamaica reaps through its multilateral connections.
We must be seen as understanding how the world works and always being there to ensure that our principles are upheld, but equally that our interests are advanced. And that is how we have executed our foreign policy, a very pragmatic foreign policy that supports our economic development and protects our interests, which includes the interests of our diaspora. It is the creation of an umbrella of protection under which we all benefit. Whether you're in the diaspora or you're living in Jamaica, you know that you have the coverage of your Ministry of Foreign Affairs and your government.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.
The president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, the PSOJ, Metri Siaga, is challenging his private sector colleague John Mahfoud's proposal to cut public sector jobs to boost the economy. The PSOJ boss is instead proposing an expansion of the public sector workforce in order to lower the wage bill.
Fundamentally, I'm in disagreement with what Mr. Mahfoud has said. I don't think that we need to cut public sector jobs as a general rule. The truth is that we need more public sector workers, we need more police, we need more teachers, we need more doctors. All of the real areas that require public sector workers, we need more of those types. What I feel we need to do is we need to grow the size of the economy. I think the answer is having a bigger pie from to take. If we have a bigger economy, then the wages and the salaries that he's speaking about will be less of a percentage of GDP than it is now.
Mahfoud's controversial suggestion is one of 9 measures being proposed to achieve high levels of GDP growth. The prominent businessman says Jamaica's public sector wage bill, which amounts to nearly half of annual tax revenues, is crowding out resources that could otherwise fund development programs. But Mr. Siaga says while the private sector is always seeking new talent, the workforce should not be drawn at the expense of the public sector.
Whilst I agree with Mr. Mahfoud that we need to reduce the expenditure, that is one way of achieving the same thing. Sure, the private sector always is looking for good people, and with unemployment at 3.3%, we always need good people. But I'm not convinced that they need to come from the existing jobs that are in the public sector.
Metri Siaga, the president of the PSOJ. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
It's IQ Optical's sizzling summer sale. For this month only, get 50% off lenses when you purchase a frame. Kids get free lenses with a purchase of a frame. Make the intelligent choice with IQ Optical. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 out west in Montego Bay.
60 years strong and just getting started. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica proudly presents its annual business conference, the highlight of its 60th anniversary year. Join them Thursday, October 9 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Hear from keynote speaker, CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Mr. Livingston Morrison, plus top industry leaders on global trade, the evolving CFO role, and AI in accounting. Don't miss it. Register by October 4 at icaj.org.
Continuing the news, Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, JASERT, retired Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says one of the most common oversights made by local businesses is data protection. Speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing, he notes that irresponsible digital footprints are a major misstep by citizens.
When we look at some of the most egregious breaches that we've responded to, it comes down to misconfiguration of perimeter security systems. What does that say to us? It's either that the systems were not set up properly, either through the use of persons not qualified to do it, or just cutting corners. But in the end, your data was at risk. And when we look at our personal systems, it's how we approach the digitally enabled world we live in. So we believe we must be out there, we must share, we must overshare. We do not take into consideration the size of our digital footprint and the need to, from time to time, sanitize that.
This comes in the midst of October being celebrated as National Cybersecurity Awareness Day. JASERT is set to host multiple cybersecurity awareness sessions with various groups during the month. These groups include the government, private sector entities, as well as national security and education stakeholders. Lieutenant Colonel Sterling says citizens and businesses both need to be wary of online practices as well as how they handle data.
For the general public, stop being a cyber delinquent. Appreciate that you live in a digital environment. You're a digital citizen, whether you're a native or a tenant. And to ensure that those devices that you use are no longer the Nokia 3310s. You carry your lives in your pockets. So if you have to use it, then lock it and take it with you. And for businesses, understand that data is your new currency. And you must securely collect, store, and transmit that data. But you must also get rid of it in a demonstrable and secure manner when you no longer have use for it.
Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, Director of JASERT. He was speaking at a post-cabinet media briefing on Wednesday.
Now, the Jamaica Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, JSPCA, says it will move to a new location by the end of the year. The managing director of the JSPCA, Pamela Lawson, says the facility will move to a site on Old Hope Road in St. Andrew.
We are actually at the moment trying to clear the property. The rains have held us up a bit because it is undeveloped land. There is no access, so we have to get it cleared and leveled. We are going to have to set up a temporary facility while we then continue over a time period of doing construction. So there's a lot on our plate at the moment. The timeline is very tight. I don't know how we're going to do it, but they are saying 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We can't move to SPCA that quickly, but we are going to do our best. I'm going to hope we can do everything that we need to do before or by the end of the year.
The JSPCA lost its home at 10 Winchester Road in St. Andrew after the property was sold to the National Health Fund, the NHF. As such, the organization is in a race against time to relocate. The facility currently takes care of more than 300 animals. But Ms. Lawson says it has been forced to reduce the number of animals in its care.
easily we're going through hundreds of animals a week. But we have scaled down on our shelter activities because to move with so many animals is going to be extremely difficult. And so we have cut back on the number of animals we have in the shelter until we have relocated to a new facility, because we're not even sure how our kennel situation will be, our cattery situation. We have to be able to work with the animals that are in hospital and those that need our care.
Pamela Lawson, the managing director of the JSPCA. Persons who wish to assist the organization can reach out via email, or you can call 876-797-2690.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute. President Donald Trump has declared drug cartels to be unlawful combatants and says the U.S. is now in a non-international armed conflict. The declaration follows recent U.S. strikes on boats in the Caribbean. The first military strike carried out on September 2 killed 11 people. Trump had justified the military action as a necessary escalation to stem the flow of drugs into the United States. On Wednesday, Congress was notified about the designation by Pentagon officials. The memo signals a new moment in the Trump administration's willingness to reach beyond the norms of presidential authority to wage war. Several senators, Democrats, and some Republicans have questioned the legality of Trump's action.
Hundreds of activists have been detained by Israeli forces after a flotilla carrying aid bound for Gaza was intercepted. The detainees include Swedish climate campaigner Greta Thunberg. Israel's foreign ministry said those involved in the flotilla were being transferred to an Israeli port to be deported. Israel said its navy told the boats to change course as they were approaching an active combat zone and violating a lawful naval blockade. But the volunteers say Israel's response was not an act of defense, but a brazen act of desperation. The group estimated that 443 people were detained. They also alleged that many were assaulted with water cannon. But Israel says all those detained were safe and in good health.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the search party trying to find 12-year-old Jaden Smith has now expanded to more than 100 people.
An eyewitness is alleged to have spotted the missing boy.
The JLP has accused the PMP of vulgar hypocrisy for criticizing the interdiction of Dr. O.J. Dixon.
The government says the country's recent credit upgrade is a sign of its global strength.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
And listeners, you can find the news on our website at revonews.ai and on the Revo News app. You can find it on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
The hour was brought to you by the KFC Value Menu. Grab a chicken box, famous bowl, crunch sandwich, or small popcorn chicken with combos starting at just $620. KFC. It's finger licking good.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Now, after being outplayed by India on the opening day, the West Indies will go looking for early wickets when play begins on the second day of the first cricket test in Ahmedabad at 11 o'clock Jamaica time tonight. The hosts needed only 44 overs to dismiss the Caribbean team for 162, with only 3 players getting starts. Justin Greaves at 32, Shea Hope 26 and Captain Ruston Chase 24. Mohamed Siraj 4 for 40 and Jasprit Bumrah 3 for 42 were simply too good for the Windies batters. After Chase called correctly at the toss and elected to bat, the Indians then cruised to 121 for 2 at close, trailing by 41 runs with a dangerous KL Rahul still there on 53 and a captain Shubman Gill on 18. Jaden Seals and skipper Ruston Chase have so far taken the wickets. Vice captain Jamil Warkan says they didn't want to have to bat last on the wicket, hence the decision to bat, but he thought the West Indies gave India a way back in the post-lunch session.
Key moments in the game, we just before lunch, we let India back into the game. So that's something as a unit we need to improve on, and we definitely know that we're going to learn going forward.
Warkan says going into the second day's play, the plan is simple.
Continue bowling a lot of balls, backing your strengths. Consistency is everything, so making sure that I do a lot of target bowling so I could be very consistent and analyzing conditions as quick as possible, meaning using a mental capability.
That's the Vice Captain of the West Indies Test team, Jamil Warkan. Financial constraints have forced Cricket West Indies to significantly alter and in some cases cut a chunk out of their regional competitions for next year. This was revealed on Wednesday by Chief Executive Officer Chris Deering and Director of Cricket Miles Bascom, who both admitted 2026 would be a challenging year for the region's governing cricket body, with its revenue expected to drop significantly. Among some of the casualties is Cricket West Indies on the 17 tournament, which has been scrapped. The women's tournaments will be merged, while the combined campuses and colleges and the West Indies Academy have been axed from the men's tournament. Deering said Cricket West Indies was scheduled to host over 33 events next year, including tours of Sri Lanka, New Zealand and Pakistan. They say based on the financial model of the ICC, the West Indies was not set to benefit from hosting either of the 3 tours. Deering said with the profits from co-hosting the 2024 Men's T20 World Cup already gone, tough decisions had to be made in Cricket West Indies' best interest. He said Cricket West Indies has formulated a 4-pronged attack aimed at addressing those financial issues, which included continued lobbying with ICC to restructure its financial model, re-engineering its domestic tournaments, working closer with CARICOM and getting more financial support from companies in the Caribbean. England and Liverpool football legend John Barnes has been declared bankrupt after posing a debt of £1.5 million through his media firm. The 61-year-old, once the darling of the Cup and a key figure in Bobby Robson's England side, was handed the crushing order by the High Court. The declaration was later published in the London Gazette. The bankruptcy is rooted in the collapse of Barnes's now defunct business, John Barnes Media Limited. Liquidators revealed the staggering debts, including nearly £777,000 owed to Her Majesty Royal Christine in unpaid VAT, national insurance and PAYE. On top of that, Barnes' company still had $461,849 in unsecured debt and $226,000 director's loan hanging over it. Barnes had already been barred from serving as a company director for 3.5 years due to these financial issues, and despite chipping away at the debt with installment payments, the hole was simply too deep. And this is far from the first time that Barnes has been in the dock over his finances. Since 2010, he has faced multiple bankruptcy petitions, including one last year. And it's a bitter fall from grace from the man who once made history. He was England's first £10,000 a week footballer. Back in the late 80s, Barnes was the face of a new era of big money in football. Now, decades later, he's been sued as a warning. Jamaica's bid to qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup finals in 2027 in Brazil will kick off on November 27. They play away to Dominica in the opening game of their CONCACAF qualifying series. Jamaica has been drawn in a group with Dominica, Nicaragua, Antigua and Guyana. The winner of the group will play against the 5th-ranked CONCACAF nation for a place at the next Women's World Cup. The Jamaicans who qualified for the last 2 World Cups, including to the round of 16 in Australia, are currently 4th in the ranking. The national national team will face their Trinidad and Tobago counterparts in 2 international friendlies during the upcoming October FIFA window as part of preparation. Both games will be played in Port of Spain between October 24 and 29. TNT's women have not played competitively since December of 2023. And just going back to a bit of, let's stay with football, because Victor Montagliani, Vice President of football's governing body FIFA, in a subtle dig at the US President Donald Trump, says football is bigger than any world leader and any regime. Trump said last week that he would consider moving games out of cities he deemed dangerous ahead of next year's FIFA World Cup, which will be jointly held by the United States, Mexico, and Canada.
With all due respect to current world leaders, football is bigger than them, and football will survive their regime, their government, their slogans. Does it cause a headache once in a while when you're having to administer the game, whether you're at a league or an international federation? Of course it does.
11 U.S. cities are scheduled to host games, and any movement could cause significant logistical and legal issues 8 months out of the start of the tournament. Montagliani added that football has its governing body to handle major developments.
That's the beauty about our game, is that it is bigger than any individual and bigger than any country.
That's Victor Montagliani, president of CONCACAF and a FIFA vice president. And that will do it for sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Cubby's Baby Wipes is ideal for your baby's delicate skin, infused with vitamin E and aloe vera, and available for home or on the go. The time by Cubby's Baby Wipes is
5:31.
From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocherias to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
30 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's the same in the second city, Montego Bay.
Mysterious, magical, mesmerizing. Wouldn't you like to experience the natural beauty of the Northern Lights? You could be the lucky one if you use your cards right. Spend with your Sagicor Bank credit card from September 29 to November 13, 2025, and you could win an all-inclusive cruise vacation for 2 along the Norwegian coast to see the Northern Lights. Chase the Northern Lights with your Sagicor Bank credit card. The more you spend it, the closer you are to your dream adventure. Enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply. Authorized by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission.
Hey, did you hear? JUTC just launched Rural Express routes.
Really? Where to?
Travel to and from Kingston with direct routes to Ocherias, Montego Bay, Negril, Mandeville, Maypen, and coming soon, Port Antonio.
Wow, that sounds convenient, but must be pricey.
Not at all. Special introductory fare just $2,000. Except for Maypen, that's just $1,500. The JUTC Rural Express is here. Your ticket to comfort, connection, and convenience at a price that fits your budget. Whether it's family, school, or a weekend getaway, travel to Jamaica's top destinations with ease and enjoy a smooth, stress-free ride. Visit our social media at JUTC Ltd or log on to www.jutc.gov.jm for schedules.
Give your team a glow up at the 2025 Business and Personal Etiquette Conference on November 6th at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Procure the presence, polish, and professionalism to make your team unforgettable. Hosted by Make Your Mark Consultants in partnership with Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Visual Tech Solutions, Nationwide 90 FM, Main Event, and more. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-6001 for the Business and Personal Etiquette Conference.
Ever wondered how to spot a scam before it drains your account? Or how Jamaica's top financial crime fighters track down the money? Join the Financial Investigations Division on Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. for FID in Action, an informative, engaging feature designed to keep you and your money safe. Learn practical tips to help you spot, prevent, and report financial crimes. Understand how the FID protects the financial system. That's FID in action, protecting you, preventing financial crime. On Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Financial Investigations Division.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink. Access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink. 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the Cover Story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Sandra Roden. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Sandra. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. The country's Independent Fiscal Commission, the IFC, is warning of potential shortfalls in government revenues and capital spending. That's according to its 2025 statement on fiscal performance, which was released yesterday. Now, the IFC warned that this could have a material impact on meeting budgeted targets. Here's Siobhan Campbell with the details.
The Independent Fiscal Commission, IFC, is the body now tasked with ensuring that the government remains in line with the country's fiscal rules. It replaced the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC. In its latest statement on fiscal performance, the IFC flagged a $14 billion tax shortfall at the end of the last fiscal year, which has overstated the revenue base for 2025-2026. The Commission cautioned that the government may need additional revenues to meet the budgeted targets. At the same time, capital spending across the specified public sector was only $20 billion in the April to June quarter, compared to a budgeted target of $40 billion. The IFC said the under-execution of infrastructure projects could dampen Jamaica's economic growth prospects. Still, the report highlighted several positive developments. Inflation fell to 3.8% in June 2025, which was below the Bank of Jamaica's target range, while unemployment dropped to a record low of 3.3% in April. The country also benefited from an 8% boost to its nominal GDP after the Statistical Institute of Jamaica adopted a new system of national accounts. That revision pushed Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio down to 62.4%, placing the country on track to achieve its legislated 60% debt target 2 years ahead of schedule. The IFC praised progress on reducing informality through digitization and strengthening the public investment management system, but it noted gaps in public sector wage negotiations and compliance with reporting obligations. The Commission also noted that since the report's preparation, macroeconomic conditions have continued to improve, with GDP expanding by 1.6% in the June quarter and inflation falling to 1.2% in August. It's the lowest in nearly 6 decades. It's also noted unemployment held steady at 3.3% in July. The IFC said it will present a deeper assessment of fiscal performance when the government tables its interim fiscal policy paper later in October. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Siobhan. Joining us to discuss further is the Fiscal Commissioner, Courtney Williams. Good evening, Courtney.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, Sanjay. And also good afternoon to your listeners and viewers.
Good having you on with us, Sir Williams. And I want to go right into it. As it relates to the missing of particular budgetary targets, we've heard it in the spaces in the media. Is the government at risk in this fiscal year based on missing some of the targets that were in this report?
Okay, let me start by saying this is not a situation to panic.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there was a revenue shortfall in the last quarter of 24-25, just about $14 billion. And there was also a shortfall of a smaller magnitude, just about $1.5 billion, in the first quarter of this fiscal year. Now, if you're going to have a shortfall, it's better to have that shortfall early in the year so that the government can take corrective action to actually bring things back on track. So within that context, I'm saying it's not a situation to panic at this time, but it's something that's worthy of looking deeply at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I must also add, and as you have heard in the report from your colleague just now, since that time, because the report covered the period largely April to June, since that time there has been some uptick in revenue collections, particularly tax revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And I focus on tax revenue because that's where about 90% of the government revenue comes from. So up to April to June, during that period, tax revenue had increased by only 2%, 2.1% to be exact. But up to August, they've seen some improvement over the next 2 months, July and August, such that from a 2.1% increase up to June, the increase up to August is just a little over 6%. So there's some improvement in the revenue collection.
Mm-hmm. And you warned that it could have a material impact. Talk to us about some of those impacts.
Right. The material impact in the sense that if the government were to miss its revenue target and does nothing else, then it could also end up missing its fiscal target by the end of the year. But however, government can in fact take measures to ensure that even if the revenue target is missed, it could still come in line with its fiscal deficit target for the year, because there may be expenditure adjustments that the government will be able to take. In fact, so far in this year, expenditure has actually been running behind the budgeted amount, which kind of helped to offset some of the revenue shortfall that we would have seen.
Mm-hmm. And so am I correct then in saying that the revenue concerns outlined in the statement do not exist in this quarter? Do they persist in this quarter?
Right. They have not persisted up to August. We haven't had figures yet for September. So based on the collections up to August, there was some uptick in the revenue collection. Mm-hmm. However, the concern is could still be a concern in the sense that the collections up to August have 6.8%. In order for the government to still meet its collection target for the full fiscal year, for the period September through March of next year when the fiscal year ends, the revenue collection, tax revenue, would have to increase by about 9.5%. And we have not seen that level of increase for the past 3 or so years. In fact, when we look at the past 10 years, excluding the COVID period, and I want to exclude that period because it was extraordinary,
mm-hmm.
it would have been only three years where we saw tax revenue increasing by over 9% in the September to March period. So for most of those years, tax revenue did not increase by as much as the 9.5%, which is what would be required over the 7-month period from September through to March for it to come in line with target. So there's still a concern that the target for the revenue could still be missed,
mm-hmm.
unless there are some additional effort to actually bring it in line with what's required.
Courtney Williams, I got a message, and I think it gives you the opportunity to do some public education, because the message asked me why the Independent Fiscal Commission had not made any recommendations as to how the government could make up the shortfall. And I think this gives you an opportunity now to explain a little bit about the mandate of the Fiscal Commission.
Okay, so the mandate is actually to review government's performance and to opine on the sustainability of the performance. So typically fiscal commissions or fiscal councils across the globe don't make recommendations to the government. And you may ask why. So if you make a recommendation to the government acts on that. And then the same commission is going to assess the sustainability of that outcome. So you could see a conflict there.
Right.
Right. So in that sense, we don't make recommendation. What we do...
In other words, if it's your idea, you'll always think it's a good idea.
You're always going to think it's a good idea. So if you make a recommendation, and at the end of the year, you're going to have to come and assess the outcome of that recommendation.
We're up on the break. Courtney Williams, the country's fiscal commissioner, is with us. Please hold the line.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct your business. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 5:46.
Birdshot fried chicken always ready. Birdshot, original crispy. Birdshot, Cajun spicy. Birdshot, a barbecue. Birdshot, we are going Birdshot.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Montego Bay and Ocho is...
It's 30 degrees Celsius in Kingston City and 30 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Welcome back. We are talking with the country's fiscal commissioner, Courtney Williams, and I want to switch gears a bit, Courtney Williams, to look at this idea of the under-execution or the underspending on the capital projects that has been in the media of late. Of course, we heard the opposition spokesman on finance saying a bit much about it. How does that affect our broader growth trajectory?
It has implications for the country's growth trajectory. You know, the capital spending that tantamount to public investment. You're investing in infrastructure, for example. Mm-hmm. That kind of spending to put in the proper infrastructure and so on in place, which will actually help to make the create that environment that would attract more investment from private sector, from overseas investors and so on, once you put those infrastructure in place. So it will help to actually invigorate growth in that sense, in inducing investment once you have the proper infrastructure in place. I mean, I'm talking about infrastructure, be it road infrastructure, be it in spending on education, health, in terms of physical assets. So those actually create the environment where to actually induce more investment, apart from the direct effect that it would have in terms of that kind of spending and the implication that would also have for employment and further demand for goods and services. So once that expenditure is being under executed, it's not going at the pace that you expect, then it's almost like it's some slowing of the rate at which you would want to be attracting more investment in those sectors. So that is the impact it have on the country's growth prospects.
On that point, though, there is a statement about the public investment management system. I think I spoke about it a couple months ago, about the processes and how it takes long for government programs, projects, etc. to be implemented. Do you think then that some of these structural or these bureaucratic processes, if streamlined effectively, the bottlenecks being removed, they would improve the project execution?
there is scope for improvement in the system. I would say that, and the government is aware of that, and they have been putting in measures in place to help to improve that. Part of the issue, I think, is also for those who are involved in project execution to also be more au fait with the processes and with what is required. And there's where some further in terms of training of those people are involved so that they better understand the system and know how the system, what is required, so that you don't get into a situation where the project is to be implemented, but a certain step may not have been followed. And then, you know, this thing I like to use the term in terms of the sometimes one may be undertaking a project and there's much haste. It's like the paradox of haste. So much haste to get it done, and in that process, overlook something, and then it ended up taking a much longer time. That would otherwise have been the case.
But Courtney Williams, isn't that then the problem, that there are just too many bureaucratic steps, and that in and of itself slows down the process?
I'm not going to say at this. I'm not going to say at this stage. It's too many bureaucratic steps. Yes, there may be a need to relook the steps and to say whether or not all of these are strictly necessary to execute on some of these projects. But also, I think a significant part of it, based on my understanding, is that some of those who are actually involved in the project management aspects, for them to be more aware and aware and familiar with what is required. And I think that will also make a significant difference.
Yeah. Outside of the bureaucracy, are there any other issues, though, that's causing this underspending?
Well, part of it too. We also have to look at the is there sometimes maybe over ambition with some of these, and I say this to say, for example, so for 25-26, the entire public sector, we're looking at capital spending budgeted of just about 163 billion. Last year, the previous year, the expenditure was about 90 odd billion. So we're talking a roughly 60% increase in what was budgeted for what is budgeted for this year capital. It sound and looking at it, it seemed a bit ambitious. Because it would have been a huge jump from 90 billion to 106 billion. And one of the issues there is the same set of contractors and so on that are being used. So sometimes you find that they may be stretched. And in terms of the grade contractors.
So we're budgeting outside of our capacity to execute.
Right, there are capacity issues there. And it's for some of these projects, you may just have a few contractors who may be able to execute efficiently on these.
Yes.
So there's one of those capacity issues as well.
That's still bureaucracy, though, wouldn't you say, Courtney Williams? Because that's a system put in place and bureaucratically to ensure certain checks and balances are in the procurement process.
But can I say this, though? Prior to the PIM system, there used to be significant underspending on capital projects as well, you know. And what used to happen, the projects were not properly developed.
Yeah.
So what you used to have were more like some wish lists entering the budget, and some of them were nowhere near to being shovel ready.
Yeah.
And they used to be put in the budget and never ever executed, sometime 2-3 years later before they even started. So the PIMS process, the Public Investment Management System, was actually an attempt to try to treat with that deficit that was there, in the sense that to help the public sector for the people to better develop the project concept and to better develop the projects before they actually get into the budget. So I'm not going to knock it to say it's not a good system. It actually helps to improve on the project development, the project design, and project execution. But there, as you say, there are still some...
There are gaps that we can fill.
Some gaps that we need to fill.
Yeah. Let me ask you, in what sectors or areas are we seeing the most underspending?
All right, I don't have it readily available.
Okay.
But I think a lot of the infrastructure, I know, for example, in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, which has significant capital spending there. So there's some under execution there. But there's also significant in the public bodies. Because whereas they have been focused on the central government, and for that reason, that's why we have expanded the analysis to look at the specified public sector. So we are also bringing in these public bodies in it, because for the public bodies, for the quarter, they had budgeted to spend about 21 billion, but they actually spend under 10 billion in terms of capital. So they also face challenges there, and part of it, as I said, are the capacity issues in terms of, in some instances, limit in terms of the kind of contractors that are able to efficiently execute on some of these projects.
Courtney Williams, as a millennial, you're Gen Z, right? As a millennial, I have to tell you, I never thought I would live to see a day in Jamaica where this country has somebody called a fiscal commissioner who is doing this kind of work. And I wondered if you have reflected on what it means in terms of how far we've come in the management of our fiscal affairs.
I have reflected on it, and it was important that we have an institution like this. We have come far, we have sacrificed a lot of belt tightening. From when Jamaica as a country, were almost at 150% of GDP with our debt. From a time when about 75% of the budget was going to service debt. Now the debt is looking to head at just about 60% this year, and in terms of debt service, that I think is less than 30%. But things can slip. If we don't manage things properly, it can slip, and that's why it's important that we have oversight institutions that will ensure that, try to hold the government to account.
Yeah.
And hence an institution like this Independent Fiscal Commission that is not aligned, it is independent reporting just to Parliament. And so the opinion expressed and the assessment undertaken by the Commission is not influenced or dictated to by any government official.
Yeah. Has the Commission completed its full build-out in terms of capacity?
No, we still have a far way to go. The staff capacity is just about 40 at this point. We have like 9 staff members in place.
And in terms of the plans for rapid expansion, because that's going to be important, what are those plans looking like?
Well, we intend between now and the end of the year to at least another 10 members of staff. Those odds are just about now. So over the next couple of months, we will be intensifying the recruitment process.
And that has me segueing really quickly into this idea of the public sector wage bill. A concerning note based on the percentage of GDP. What say you about that, and what are we looking at for the future when it comes on to Jamaica's own economic growth?
Well, one of the things that we again raised in this report, we had done so in our inaugural report in March, that we hold to the view that the government should reintroduce a ceiling on public sector wages. So 4 years ago, just about 35% of the government's tax revenue was going to cover wages and salaries. This year, that number looking at just about almost 50%. What that means is that more and more of the revenue going towards compensation, which will be crowding out other areas of well-needed expenditure. We think an anchor on the wages will actually help in curtailing and allow more resources to be devoted to other areas of need.
Well, thank you for answering that one. That, of course, is the Fiscal Commissioner, Courtney Williams. Thanks for joining us this evening on N at 5.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one.
Okay.
The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Save fast and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. More than 100 students from Manchester High School have joined the search party trying to find 12-year-old Jaden Smith. The school's principal, Jasford Gabriel, says an eyewitness is alleged to have spotted Jaden Wednesday night.
Now we have about 102 students and about 15 members of staff, and as you can see, there's a large contingent of police officers, maybe about 50 or so. Conclusively, based on who I spoke with, Jaden was seen along this Wesley Road area here last night. When they raised the alarm, he started to run. One of my staff workers at school saw him, and she said that she had gotten some help from one of the male persons that was on the road that was going in the other direction. They could have held on to him, but by the time they could have done anything, he disappeared somewhere in the area.
Jaden, a student at the Mandeville-based high school, has been missing since last Friday. Mr. Gabriel believes the search will end with the boy being found alive and safe.
The positive we take from that is that he's alive. We are happy for that, and we think we are getting closer and closer to having a breakthrough. And so we are combing the area with a number of eyes, as we have said, and the expectation is that we will find him. We want to see him and grab him, and then we will take it from there, because, you know, as you can imagine, the school community is quite uneasy. We're not so happy when one member suffers, the entire community feels it. We believe that we are nearing to getting a breakthrough in this matter.
Jasford Gabriel, principal of Manchester High. The governing JLP has described the PNP's condemnation of the interdiction of Dr. R.J. Dixon as vulgar and hypocritical. The party says it's the latest indication that their opposition counterparts cannot be trusted. Government Senator Marlon Morgan points to past instances where the PNP supported or pursued sanctions against the JLP members under similar circumstances.
This same PNP in 2020 had written to the political ombudsman seeking to have Rhoda Moy Crawford sanctioned when she had announced intention to enter representational politics. Let us also not forget that in 2018, with no objection from the PNP, there was a public call for the resignation of then OPM Director of Communication, Mr. Robert Morgan, after he announced his intention to enter representational politics. Recently, Councillor Dean Jones' status as councillor was revoked when this same PNP took him to court, arguing that he was a public sector worker at the time of his election, and that was deemed to have been in contravention of the rules.
Dixon was interdicted by the Southern Regional Health Authority following his candidacy in the September 3 general election. In allowing himself to be nominated as a parliamentary candidate, Dixon contravened the Public Service Staff Orders. The PNP has called for his reinstatement, but Senator Morgan says Dixon's interdiction came after clear guidance was issued by the Health Ministry a year before the election.
At no point when they sought to have members of the Jamaica Labour Party adversely impacted by the same section of the public sector staff orders that have now been applied to Dr. Dixon did they, the PNP, raise the issue of constitutionality regarding said provisions. The latest stance of Zuleika Jest and the PNP are but another example and reminder as to why the people of Jamaica cannot trust them. They are a morally bankrupt political organization which is prepared to adjust their position not based on principle but in accordance with what they consider to be popular or politically convenient at different points in time.
Marlon Morgan, Government Senator. President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Metri Siaga, is challenging his private sector colleague John Mafu's proposal to cut public sector jobs to boost the economy. The PSOJ boss is instead proposing an expansion of the public sector workforce.
Fundamentally, I'm in disagreement with what Mr. Mafu has said. I don't think that we need to cut public sector jobs as a general rule. The truth is that we need more public sector workers, we need more police, we need more teachers, we need more doctors. All of the real areas that require public sector workers, we need more of those types. What I feel we need to do is we need to grow the size of the economy. I think the answer is having a bigger pie from which to take. If we have a bigger economy, then the wages and the salaries that he's speaking about will be less of a percentage of GDP than it is now.
Mr. Siaga says while the private sector is always seeking new talent, the workforce should not come at the expense of the public sector.
Whilst I agree with Mr. Mafu that we need to reduce the expenditure, that is one way of achieving the same thing. Sure, I mean, the private sector always is looking for good people, and with unemployment at 3.3%, we always need good people. But I'm not convinced that they need to come from the existing jobs that are in the public sector.
Metri Siaga, President of the PSOJ. Information Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the recent upgrade in Jamaica's credit rating by international rating agency Standard & Poor's is an indication of the country's positive global standing.
Standard & Poor's Global Ratings upgraded Jamaica's sovereign credit rating from BB- to BB. Now, many people don't understand what that means, but it means that our country, our sovereign credit rating is better than many European countries. It's better than other Caribbean countries. Jamaica is one that is seen globally as leading in relation to our sovereign credit rating.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Information. Jamaica's new BB rating is an improvement from the BB- rating ascribed to the country's long-term foreign and local currency sovereign credit in September last year. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. Sports is next.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads Podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Defending champions Garvey Maceo played out a 1-1 draw with Denby High as action continued on Thursday in the Issa da Costa Cup competition. In other games, Kemsale surprised Glenmuir High 1-0, Edwin Allen tagged to Claude McKay 3-1, and Ferncourt defeated York Castle by 2-0. In the Lone Manning Cup game today, Norman Manley swamped the team from Innsbruck by 5-0. England and the Liverpool football legend John Barnes has been declared bankrupt after posing debts of £1.5 million through his media firm. The 61-year-old, once the darling of the Cup and a key figure in Bobby Robson's England side, was handed the crushing order by the High Court. The declaration was later published in the London Gazette. The bankruptcy is rooted in the collapse of Barnes' now defunct business, John Barnes Media Limited. Liquidators revealed staggering debts, including nearly £777,000 in unpaid VAT, national insurance, that's value-added tax, national insurance, and PAYE. On top of that, Barnes' company still had £461,849 in unsecured debt and a £226,000 director's loan hanging over it. Barnes had already been barred from serving as a company director for 3.5 years due to the financial issues, and despite chipping away at the debt with installment payments, the hole was simply too deep. This is far from the first time Barnes has been in the dock over his finances. Since 2010, he faced multiple bankruptcy petitions, of course, including one last year when he was hit with a $238,000 tax bill. That case was eventually settled, but this time Barnes has not been able to wriggle free. Now, it's a bitter fall from grace from the man who once made history as England's football's first £10,000 a week player. Back in the late 1980s, Barnes was the face of a new era of big money football in England. Now, decades later, it's been used as a warning. Jamaica's bid to qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup Finals in 2027 will kick off on November 27 when they travel away to Dominica for the opening game of their CONCACAF qualifying series. Jamaica has been drawn in a group with Dominica, Nicaragua, Antigua, and Guyana. The winner of the group will play against the 5th-ranked Caribbean nation, CONCACAF nation, for a place at the next World Cup in Brazil in 2027. The Jamaicans who qualified for the last 2 World Cup, including making it to the round of 16 in Australia, are currently 4th in the ranking. The national team will face their Trinidad and Tobago counterpart in 2 international friendlies during the upcoming October FIFA window as part of the preparation. Both games will be played in Port of Spain between October 24 and 29. TNT's women have not played competitively since December of 2023. After being outplayed by India on the opening day, the West Indies will go looking for early wickets when play begins on the second day of the first cricket test in Ahmedabad at 11 o'clock Jamaica time tonight. The hosts needed only 44 overs to dismiss the Caribbean team for 162, with only 3 players getting starts. Justin Greaves, 32, Shea Hope, 26, and the captain, Ruston Chase, 24. Mohamed Siraj, 4 for 40, and Jasprit Bumrah, 3 for 42, were simply too good for the West Indies batters after Chase called correctly at the toss and elected to bat. The Indians then cruised to 121 for 2 at close, trailing by just 41 runs, with the dangerous KL Rahul still there on 53 and his captain Shubman Gill on 18. Jaden Seales and skipper Ruston Chase have so far taken the wickets. Vice captain Jomel Warken says they didn't want to have to bat last on the wicket, hence the decision to bat first, but he thought the West Indies gave India a way back into the post-match session.
Key moments in the game, just before lunch, we let India back into the game. So that's something as a unit we need to improve on, and we definitely know that we're going to learn going forward.
Warken says going into the second day's play, the plan is simple.
Continue bowling a lot of balls, backing your strengths. Consistency is everything. So making sure that I do a lot of target bowling so I could be very consistent and analyzing conditions as quick as possible, meaning using a mental capability.
Vice captain of the West Indies Test team, Jamel Warken. Financial constraints have forced Cricket West Indies to significantly alter and in some instances cut a chunk out of their regional competitions for next year. This was revealed on Wednesday by Chief Executive Officer Chris Daring and Director of Cricket Miles Bascom, who both admitted 2026 would be a challenging year for the region's governing cricket body, with its revenue expected to drop significantly. Among some of the casualties is CWI's Under-17 tournament, which has been scrapped. The women's tournaments will be merged, while the combined campuses and colleges and the West Indies Academy have been axed from the men's tournaments. Daring said Cricket West Indies was scheduled to host over 33 events next year, including tours of Sri Lanka, New Zealand and Pakistan. He says based on the financial model of the ICC, the West Indies was not set to benefit from hosting either of the 3 tours. Daring said with profits from co-hosting the 2024 Men's T20 World Cup already gone, tough decisions had to be made in Cricket West Indies' best interest. He said CWI has formulated a 4-pronged attack aimed at addressing those financial issues, which included continued lobbying with the ICC to restructure its financial model, re-engineering its domestic tournaments, working closer with CARICOM and getting more financial support from companies in the Caribbean. The Indian women's cricket team could follow the lead of their male counterparts and refuse to shake the hands of the Pakistani players when the two teams meet in a crunch World Cup game in Colombo on Sunday. BCCI Secretary Devijat Sakia did not rule out the possibility that his team could take cues from the men. Sakia says the relationship with, quote, that particular hostile country is the same. There's no change in the last week. End quote. India's men played Pakistan 3 times at the recent Asia Cup and chose not to shake hands at the toss and after the game. That tournament also ended in acrimony after India refused to accept their Asia Cup trophy from Mohsin Naqvi, who is Pakistan's interior minister, in addition to being the PCB's chairman and the ACC's president. Naqvi, for his part, refused to cede the handing over of the trophy to anyone else. The standoff caused a 90-minute delay to the post-match presentation, at which no trophy was ultimately lifted. There have been no indications yet from the women's team themselves as to how they will negotiate the politics around their game on Sunday. Former Trinidad and Tobago sprinter Ato Boldon believes Jamaica's Elaine Thompson-Herah is finished as a top contender in the sport. Speaking on the Talk Sport podcast, Boldon says based on the level of injuries Thompson-Herah has endured in recent times, the 33-year-old might find it hard to get back to her best.
I have already said I think Elaine is done as a threat. That did not go over well in Jamaica, because it is seen as me insulting the Queen. And it's like, no, Elaine actually, I think, can make a case for best overall sprinter ever. She's done what nobody has done. 100, 200, back-to-back Olympics. Nobody has done that. But maybe as a result of that, her odometer is a little higher than everybody else's. And when you see feet and Achilles and those sorts of parts giving out, when I said it wasn't with any malicious intent.
Thompson-Herah is the second fastest woman over 100 meters. She did 10:54, and it was done in Eugene in 2021, just a couple of weeks after breaking the Olympic record to win the 100 meters there as well in Tokyo. And according to Boldon, Thompson-Herah will find it difficult to even get back on the podium at another global championship.
If you're asking me if I think Elaine is going to win another medal in her career individually, no, I don't. I'll eat that crow with pepper sauce if she comes back and does it, because I would want to see her in the same way I would want to see Shirley-Ann Fraser-Pryce run one more time. I would love to see Elaine come back and have a this is for Ato Boldon's prediction kind of year. I don't think it's happening.
Ato Boldon, defending champion Coco Gauff, beat Eva Lees in straight sets to reach her 3rd consecutive China Open semi-final. The world's number 3 took 1 hour and 28 minutes to overcome her German opponent 6-3, 6-4. Gauff, a 2-time Grand Slam winner, broke Lee's serve 3 times in the opening set. The 21-year-old American, who has struggled with her serve at times this season, has been working on that problem and had an impressive 78% first serve percentage throughout the game. Gauff, who was knocked out in the first round at Wimbledon after winning the French Open, is now the highest ranked player left in the tournament. She'll face the American compatriot Amanda Anisimova, runner-up at Wimbledon and the US Open this year in the last 4. Anisimova, seeded 2nd, came from a set down to beat Italy's Jasmine Paolini 6-7, 6-3, 6-4 and will play in her 6th semi-final game
of the year. And finally, in sports at this time, Derek Sprague, CEO of PGA of America, has broken his silence and explained that the abuse levied at Rory McIlroy and the rest of the European team at the recently concluded Ryder Cup crossed the line.
Well, I think we take responsibility for the fan behavior, but the message, right? New York fans, we knew going into this that they're passionate, right? They love their sports teams here, and I think, and that's what sort of makes the Ryder Cup special, is that they're passionate on both sides. It was my 9th Ryder Cup, so I've been to a number of them overseas as well as here. They are passionate on both sides, and certainly we had a small number of fans that crossed the line here this past week. So I don't think it's indicative of every fan there. I've received emails and text messages. Fans had great experiences this week. And
McIlroy was the subject of verbal abuse in the tournament that saw Team Europe defeating the USA team 15-13. McIlroy's wife, Erica, was physically assaulted as she was hit by a drink thrown by a fan. And sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Tune in to Outside with Pepita on Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Get ready for the ultimate aviation experience. Come see thrilling aircraft displays, cutting-edge technology, and meet industry experts shaping the future of flight. From aviation professionals to curious explorers, there's something for everyone. Don't miss this high-flying event. Mark your calendars for October 4 at Tinson Penn Aerodrome, where Jamaica's skies come alive. Tune in to Outside with Pepita, Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. It's the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Catch us live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the School of Aviation.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special one to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So let's get to it. President of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, Metri Siaga, is challenging his private sector colleague, John Mahfoud's proposal to cut public sector jobs to boost the economy. Now, the PSOJ boss is instead proposing an expansion of the public sector workforce.
Fundamentally, I'm in disagreement with what Mr. Mahfoud has said. I don't think that we need to cut public sector jobs as a general rule. The truth is that we need more public sector workers, we need more police, we need more teachers, we need more doctors. All of the real areas that require public sector workers, we need more of those types. What I feel we need to do is we need to grow the size of the economy. I think the answer is having a bigger pie from which to take. If we have a bigger economy, then the wages and the salaries that he's speaking about will be less of a percentage of GDP. than it is now.
Mahfoud's controversial suggestion is one of 9 measures being proposed to achieve higher levels of GDP growth. Now, the prominent businessman says Jamaica's public sector wage bill, which amounts to nearly half of annual tax revenues, is crowding out resources that could otherwise fund development programs. So in public opinion this evening, we're putting the question to you. Would you support a cut in public sector jobs to boost economic growth? On our Facebook platform, Lisa Smith-Bryan is saying the public sector needs to give better service for us to have it this big. Michelle Bernard says, no, there must be other ways to stimulate more growth, which I believe the finance minister is able to do. Courtney Mack is saying, if the truth is told, the public sector is oversized, but I don't see PM cutting it anytime soon. Maxine Sole Riley is saying, of course not. How would that help these public sector workers, some of whom are already struggling to make ends meet? This is my opinion, is not a very prudent idea at all. Maxine is saying she's sure that there are more amicable ways in which to treat with this matter. Philip Jackson is saying we're barking up the wrong tree. Productivity should be our target. That is our biggest problem for decades. And export. All right. Courtney M. Anderson saying no. He doesn't support a cut in public sector jobs to boost economic growth. The government, he says, would be seen as hypocrites after reforming and making promises to now cut jobs. A resounding no. Tom Carpenter is saying they should cut their pay. So don't cut the job, but cut their pay. Wow. Okay, Isaac Morrison is saying the economy is doing well. Why should there be any cut? Lily Rose is saying to us, only idiot would have think that if you have less people working, how can you grow the economy when producing down? Spending power down, this man want to see? Okay. Winston says no. Most, if not all, of the comments on our Facebook platform is a no. Christopher Isaac saying there are some who are just obstacles and proverbial gatekeepers. Okay. Barking is questioning if we want war broke. Nope. No to war. No. Would you support a cut in public sector jobs to boost economic growth? That was a suggestion by businessman John Mahfoud. Let me see what's on our X platform. Keisha is saying this is the attitude of most of the workers working over 5 years in the government. Get them out and let them try to get a real job, that they have to deliver work or get fired. Archangel says no, but then again, I don't fully understand the long-term consequences of doing or not doing this. Maybe if those in the know will inform us if cutting the public sector size is beneficial in the long run. McHugh is saying a no. He's saying no. A more balanced approach might focus on improving public sector efficiency, eliminating corruption and waste, and creating conditions for private sector job creation. All right, so on X also, it's a resounding no. A lot of no upon X. But let's change gears. Let's go on over to our YouTube. Would you support a cut in public sector jobs to boost economic growth? Grace Price have a whole heap of O's. No. Donna Thompson says cut public sector. No, that would have worked, Donna. I don't know how that would have worked. Brick Road say a long time we know say lots of public sector workers are lazy and need to go, but we are political hypocrites. Claude West saying to us that these people seem to forget that it was the same public workers were on wage freeze for so many years as sacrifice for the country. Josephine says no. Nope. No cutting, says Mercedes Morgan. No cutting. That's not even something that this government would even consider, says 007. Greater analysis of roles and streamlining is needed to increase productivity. Cutting is not a solution. Shirley Augustine is saying no cutting. So too Carnell, cut jobs you cut jobs, you cut tax income. That's according to Cornell. No coming from Yun Smith. Yeah. Greetings to you, 007. Blessings to you. I'm getting a lot of no's. Getting a lot of no's. Strong links at time come. Miss Chin is saying what we need, public sector workers. We need public sector workers who are efficient, productive, and giving value for money. Some are simply just not producing. Some are not producing. C. Hilton is saying, you know what? Find other options. No to the job cuts. Find other options. No cutting, says Marigold. Grace Price says, my food should say long time. Why now when PM ruling? Absolutely no, it is not feasible, says Leonard Seville. To the question, would you support a cut in public sector jobs to boost economic growth? On our Instagram platform, GLA is saying that it will not drastically change the trajectory of growth. The government is trying to increase the pace at which public sector workers deliver public services. That's productivity right there. Cutting the number of workers would be counterproductive, and the pace of delivery will be much slower. Well, we don't want it no slower than, we don't want it slow, none at all. All Fire Stick is saying no, just freeze hiring and don't replace those who retire. That should eventually lower the wage to GDP over time, all while growing the economy. And he's saying also retraining the remaining workforce to be more productive and less bureaucratic. Stryker is saying no to the job cuts. All right. A lot of people seem to be commenting on this. It goes to show that you're paying attention. Rob MC is saying if the private sector is paying much more than the public sector, people would automatically leave and go to private sector. Hope is Sammy says no, not at all. We're not having it. Andre Lawrence, I don't back cutting public sector jobs in the name of growth. That's people's livelihood. The real issue is waste and mismanagement. Clean up the bureaucracy and cut the red tape. Cut it? Cheryl Ellis is saying no cutting at all. Kevin says no. All right. So it's safe to say that all the comments have been a no to job cuts. All the comments I've seen so far on YouTube, all the comments on Facebook or other social media platforms, it's a no. It is a no. Oshoy Powell says, them people, they're rich already. Them can't say anything. And Kevin is saying no, not at all. No. All right. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:32.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. The National Commercial Bank Jamaica Limited, NCBJ, has announced a series of leadership changes to its corporate and investment banking division. Central to this move is the promotion of Angus Young to Executive Vice President of Corporate and Investment Banking. Young will continue to serve as Chief Executive Officer of NCB Capital Markets Limited, while now assuming oversight of NCB's corporate banking division. Now, as part of the changes, Carleen Lynn has been appointed Vice President of Corporate Banking, marking her return to NCB. NCBJ also announced the departure of Jason Saunders, who served as Vice President of Corporate and Commercial Banking up until September 30, 2025. Asian fast fashion giant Shein has chosen France as the location to open its first permanent physical outlets. It will occupy concessions in department stores, first in Paris, followed by 5 other cities. Shein told the BBC on Thursday that France's influential global fashion market was a natural choice as the firm's testbed for physical stores. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 29 cents to buy $1 US, 217 Jamaican dollars and 16 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 116 Jamaican dollars and 3 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Roby Ann Williams. Good evening.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy, all in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far.
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Homeowners Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
Tune in to Outside with Pepita on Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Get ready for the ultimate aviation experience. Come see thrilling aircraft displays, cutting-edge technology, and meet industry experts shaping the future of flight. From aviation professionals to curious explorers, there's something for everyone. Don't miss this high-flying event. Mark your calendars for October 4 at Tinson Penn Aerodrome, where Jamaica's skies come alive. Tune in to Outside with Pepita, Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. It's the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Catch us live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the School of Aviation.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Ever wondered how to spot a scam before it drains your account? Or how Jamaica's top financial crime fighters track down the money? Join the Financial Investigations Division on Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. for FID in Action, an informative, engaging feature designed to keep you and your money safe. Learn practical tips to help you spot, prevent, and report financial crimes. Understand how the FID protects the financial system. That's FID in Action, protecting you, preventing financial crime. On Nationwide this morning, every first and third Friday at 8:20 a.m. Brought to you by the Financial Investigations Division.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Good evening to you. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Sandre Roden.
Now, over 100 students from Manchester High School have joined a search party trying to locate 12-year-old Jaden Smith. Jaden, who is a student at the Mandeville-based high school, has been missing since last Friday. The school's principal, Jasford Gabriel, says an eyewitness spotted Jaden on Wednesday night. He believes the search will end with the boy being found alive and safe.
The search is being led by a team of firefighters, police, and volunteers. Young Jaden was last seen leaving school wearing his khaki uniform and brown shoes. He is of dark complexion, slim build, about 5 feet tall.
He hails from Wales in Newport, Manchester. Now, on Wednesday, the State Minister of Education and Youth and the MP for Central Manchester, Rhoda Moy Crawford, told us that Jaden was a recipient of her constituency's Top Student Award this summer.
I met him recently at the graduation, the school leaving exercise that was held in Newport. He's from Betterborough Primary School. He was the recipient of the Top Boy Award given through my office. You know, very intelligent. I mean, even when I gave him the award, he was saying, MP, I'm going to work so hard. I'm not going to let you down. So, I mean, when I saw the news, it tugged at my heart. But then when I saw that it's this youngster that I interacted with, it tugged at me even deeper.
That's Rhoda Moy Crawford, State Minister of Education and Youth and the Member of Parliament for Central Manchester. Anyone knowing Jaden Smith's whereabouts are asked to contact the Newport Police at 876-965-7253. That's 876-965-7253. The 119 police emergency numbers as well, or the nearest police station. Joining us for the discussion this afternoon is Manchester High's Principal, Jasford Gabriel. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Principal Gabriel.
Yeah, good evening, Ricardo, and good evening to your listeners as well.
And Sandre is with me.
And Sandre, yes.
Let me ask you, what's the latest on the search for young Jaden?
So it came up empty today again. We were very hopeful that we would have found Jaden today, because conclusively, I can't speak to some of the alerts that we got earlier in the week about him being seen, although some persons are adamant that they would have seen him in their surroundings. So quite evident he has been moving around the town of Mandeville. Can't say what his base is. But as far as last night is concerned, after 6, I got a call. This now is one of our workers at Manchester High School who knows him well, would have seen him on Wesley Road. That in the vicinity of the school, they raised an alarm, and she said if she had gotten help at the same time, they could have gotten him, but she wasn't quick enough to, because when they raised the alarm, he started to run. And then it was getting dark, he disappeared in some bushes, and we conducted a search, but it would have been difficult because that was night. So given that situation, and we could confirm that he's in that locality, we arranged a massive party today with students and the firefighters and the police, and media was there, and we combed that entire area. Grove Road, Newley Road, Wesley Road, Wesley Avenue, and we came up short. So,
if I could just follow, was the staff member able to say what he was wearing, how he was attired at the time when she saw him?
Yes, man, she gave a very, because I was about 20 minutes away, so I would have rushed some delays in the traffic, and I got there, they couldn't see him again, but she saw him in his same uniform as posted in the picture, school uniform, shirt tucked in, just the same knapsack on his back. But this time she said he had another bag in his hand as well, so they are surmising that maybe he was heading towards the town to get food or something, because he would have been about less than 5 minutes now from the nearest food place on Wesley Road.
So what's the impact, Jasford Gabriel, on the students, his friends, colleagues there at the school, now that they're doing the search and today's another day that you've come up short?
Mood is a somber one, but as you can imagine, we are not used to this kind of thing. None of the students in the current population would have had to endure a situation like this. So despite the fact that Jaden would have just started Manchester High School just 1 month now, is a part of our population, and we're a close-knit family. So today, when we announced that quickly we're going to arrange a search, the entire school population almost literally wanted to go on the road. We had to manage the numbers. And they didn't just want to go out for the fun of it. They have a deep concern, and they really want him to come back home. When I went to his class down at the first form, that was Monday morning. Obviously, he sits right at the front of the class, to the right of the teacher, and they left his desk and chair very clear, and with the high hope and expectation that he's going to rejoin them. So you can imagine the kind of impact. So everybody is going about, still going to their classes and engaging in their various activities. But when you come on the campus, you can tell that something is different.
Are his guardians, parents, a part of this search party?
Not today, but they have been all over the place. She has visited school on a number of occasions, so we stay in close contact, and they have organized searches independently of what we are doing. So sometimes they would move out with us, at other times, depending on where the leads are, they would go to different areas. But today was a hastily arranged one, so they weren't a part of this one.
And what have you been able to gather from his class teachers? What kind of student is Jaden?
Just like MP said, all positive. It's one of those model students, and one of our indicators as educators, whenever you see a male student wants to sit at the front of the class, that in and of itself tells you a lot. Many of our boys tend to want to just gravitate towards the back of the class. So you're talking about purpose, determination, passion. One of the highest achievers, that came in on the PEP placement with a very high score in excess of 90. Valedictorian, top boy at Bethabra, and very jovial, because some of his classmates who we spoke with Monday morning, they were with him at Little Caesars in Mandeville. That's a pizza place, quite popular, and they had good interactions. They were sharing meals with him and so on, and the only thing they said is that he ate more than he would have normally eaten, and they all left him there because he told them that he has something else to do in Mandeville. But they would not have suspected anything based on out of the ordinary. He ate a lot, and he still carried food with him when we checked the footage. But nobody can say his whereabouts after that.
So that sounds like, and just based on what you've said to me, that sounds like he was preparing himself not to go home.
But clearly, that we can conclude for sure. We were saying today that, and he's part of the cadet unit as well, but boy, his survival skills are excellent because he has been seen at so many different places. And yesterday, the distance that he ran, when I checked that has to be somebody with a lot of energy still. To be able to run all that distance and then disappear. And so he's quite elusive. But clearly, and then he had extra money as well. So his guardian would have said that he took out his savings as well, and that was against the plan that they had for the savings that he had. So clearly he had a plan, but nobody knew.
So this was
Principal Gabriel. This is a 12-year-old boy. What is he afraid of, such that he would prepare himself to be on the run?
That's the $1 million question. We're all in the community trying, because if it is that he doesn't want to go back home, then there are several places he could just turn himself in, whether to school or to the police, or because the last thing we did today was to send out, we're going to do a town cry. Maybe it has started already, so we have coined a voice note, the vice principal, because we think he will hear it, especially after school hours, just to confirm that, that the school community cares about him, we love him. We want him to return to us. He has a bright future. We don't want him to do anything to himself. So we're pleading with him just to come by and we'll take care of him and so whatever the matter is from there. But we cannot know why this youngster would be just running like that and trying to evade everybody and not even seem to be staying at a stable place.
And none of his friends or teachers detected anything strange or unusual about his behavior in the last few days?
Absolutely not, because he's a quiet student but participates a lot in class, loves to answer questions and very reasoned and intelligent. But all of the persons that interacted with him, the furthest we could go is that they could tell you up to what time they departed from his company on Friday, and he told all of them the same thing, that he had other business to do. He's not ready yet to go home. So they would not have detected anything at all, and because this has not happened before, so for a long time. So nobody would have detected that he would have had any such kind of intention.
So how are you coping, Joshua Gabriel, with this situation now, going through the searches, organizing, and also still having to do your usual administrative duties? How are you coping, and the staff at Manchester?
That's a good question. It's what we do. When we signed up for this vocation, we very well knew that it will come with different challenges when you are dealing with young people, and you have to expect the unexpected. But we have a very supportive team. The guidance counselors, the vice principals, the staff members, they're always making suggestions and ready to provide information or to go on the road to do the searches. It has taken quite a bit of time away from quite a bit of the administrative stuff that is required. But we just put in extra hours to get it done. But right now, priority is just we don't want Jaden to do anything to himself. We're happy to know he's alive, but then there's a concern that the longer this drags on, there's a fear that he may do something to himself, because we also thought today that wherever he might have seen the huge delegations or something and he's not presenting himself. So as to how he will respond eventually, we just have to pray and hope that good sense will prevail.
Principal Gabriel, I have to ask this question, and it pains me to ask, but I have to ask because I don't think there's any other conclusion. This is a child who does not want to go home. He's afraid of going home. Why could that be? I have no idea, to tell you the truth. I don't know about the family background. I don't know about the context.
I spoke with his guardian, who has had him since he was 6 years old. In fact, the guardian's brother, his twin brother, is Jaden's father. But Jaden doesn't live with him. So from all accounts, and based on what she has shared with us, they have had a wonderful relationship, to the extent that persons in the community comment on the closeness and so on. So I can only go by the statements that have been provided by the family members, because both stepfather and mother would have visited school, and the discussion sometimes would venture into those areas, because we would have asked, I wonder if he felt any way by virtue of hurting his cousin and maybe anything that was said or anything like that. Based on what they said, we couldn't pick up anything at all that could lead us to any conclusions about any acrimony at home. So I don't have any kind of evidence to point in that direction.
We're going to do our part. So I'm going to ask you the question so that we can blast it out on social media. If Jaden is hearing you as his principal, what would you say to him?
Yeah, Jaden, we are very concerned about you. We love you. We want you to come back to our school community. There's a lot of love. All your friends and teachers and everybody want you to come back home to school and to continue your education. Remember, you're a brilliant boy. You're a valedictorian. You're going to make yourself, your school, and your family proud. So please don't do anything to yourself. Just come back to school. And whatever the matter is, we will sort it so that you can have a bright future, and we are praying for you. So please come back to school.
We'll keep in touch with you, Principal Gabriel, throughout the weekend for any updates. But thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. All the best. Thanks.
Amen. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
A 12-year-old boy accesses his savings, takes more money than usual to leave home,
eats more,
goes to a pizza outlet, eats more than normal, and then takes food with him.
Yeah.
It's a 12-year-old boy who has planned not to go home. And the obvious question is, why would a 12-year-old child, I mean, notwithstanding the principal saying he has excellent survival skills, which he does, clearly, but why would a 12-year-old child be running around in bushes instead of going home?
In his uniform.
And having seen somebody from school who he knows, why would he flee? What is he so afraid of?
Yeah.
Very, very, very bizarre.
He's terrified, Ricardo. He's terrified. We don't have the answers just yet, but yeah, he's terrified of whatever consequences or whatever happened.
Yes. He must feel like he's going to face a consequence that is worse than being outside in the cold, mosquito in a bush. At 12 years old?
Yeah.
What is it now, 6 days?
Yeah.
Very, very unusual. Something not right. Something not right there, man. Something not right. We hope he's found safe, and hopefully the next time he's spotted, he'll go with whoever sees him. We're gonna take a break and come back with more.
Every time you are link with a condom, coulda Ozzy, coulda wife, coulda be a random. Do it for your best life.
The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is...
It's 6:57.
Give your team a glow up at the 2025 Business and Personal Etiquette Conference on November 6th at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Procure the presence, polish, and professionalism to make your team unforgettable. Hosted by Make Your Mark Consultants in partnership with Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Visual Tech Solutions, Nationwide 90 FM, Main Event, and more. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-6001 for the Business and Personal Etiquette Conference.
Mysterious, magical, mesmerizing. Wouldn't you like to experience the natural beauty of the Northern Lights? You could be the lucky one if you use your cards right. Spend with your Sagicor Bank credit card from September 29 to November 13, 2025, and you could win an all-inclusive cruise vacation for two along the Norwegian coast to see the Northern Lights. Chase the Northern Lights with your Sagicor Bank credit card. The more you spend it, the closer you are to your dream adventure. Enjoy the best rewards ever. Conditions apply. Authorized by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission.
We're back with It's Nationwide at 5. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer says it's clear hatred rising once again following a terror attack on a Manchester synagogue. This as he promised Britain would come together to wrap their arms around the Jewish community. The Greater Manchester Police says 2 members of the Jewish community died and 4 more are injured after a car was driven at pedestrians and a person was stabbed outside a synagogue on Thursday morning. The offender is also dead, having been shot by the police. They've also confirmed the incident as an act of terrorism. Police named the perpetrator as 35-year-old Jihad al-Shami, a British citizen of Syrian descent.
Now, Sir Keir, who returned early from a meeting of European leaders in Denmark, says Jewish buildings, including synagogues and schools in the UK, now require round-the-clock protection because of the daily threat of anti-Semitic hatred. Addressing the Jewish community moments after an emergency COBRA meeting, he said that he promised that he would do everything in his power to guarantee the security that Jews deserve, starting with a more visible police presence to protect the Jewish community. We have more in this report from Sky News.
A targeted attack on a community, almost certainly inspired by hatred, designed to provoke fear. It seemed inevitable this statement would come.
Counter-terrorism policing has declared this as a terrorist incident. And I want to be clear, UK policing is mobilising, and it's mobilising fast.
Police say there's no reason to suspect an increased threat to synagogues, but policing visibility will be stepped up. This from London's mayor.
I want to reassure them that in London they will be seeing additional police officers. People should be allowed to go about and practice their faith, knowing they're going to be safe. Unfortunately, too many Jewish Londoners, Jewish people across the country, Jewish people across the globe don't feel that way, and that's heartbreaking.
The Jewish community had feared this day would come and had already put measures in place to protect themselves, as the Prime Minister observed.
We provide a home. For so many Jewish families, that is the story of Britain. But Britain is also a country where Jewish buildings, synagogues, even schools require round-the-clock protection, where dedicated specialist security is necessary, because of the daily threat of anti-Semitic hatred. Today's horrific incident shows why. And while this is not a new hate, this is something Jews have always lived with, we must be clear. It is a hatred that is rising once again.
The Community Security Trust, which monitors anti-Semitism, found that after the October 7th attacks in Israel, anti-Jewish incidents doubled in the first half of 2024.
I don't want it to be normalized. It's completely abnormal and extreme for British Jews to have to lead this way. The security measures at schools, I mean, we design schools at the architecture stage to be as far back from main roads as possible in case, God forbid, there's ever a truck bomb. You know, that's the extent of what we do.
Ahmed Ali Alid was responsible for the last terrorist murder in the UK. In October 2023, the asylum seeker attacked a Christian housemate in Hartlepool, but said he was inspired by the war in Gaza. In October last year, the head of MI5 had this warning.
We are powerfully alive to the risk that events in the Middle East directly trigger terrorist action in the UK. as we saw with last October's knife attack in Hartlepool. The ripples from conflict in that region will not necessarily arrive at our shores in a straightforward fashion. They'll be filtered through the lens of online media and mixed with existing views and grievances in unpredictable ways.
Marauding attacks are unpredictable and quick. In 2017, the 3 London bridge attackers killed 6 people in 8 minutes before they were shot. The same year, the Westminster bridge attacker killed 5 people in 82 seconds. Here in Manchester, the attacker was shot within 7 minutes of a call from the public. That phone call probably saved lives. It's likely so did the security precautions that all synagogues routinely deploy. That fortressing of their lives, schools and places of worship must sadly be stepped up. Jason Farrell, Sky News.
That report there from Sky News, and it just solidifies the point that we are living in an increasingly hateful world. Yeah. And sometimes I have to tell the truth, Santre, I tune it out. Yeah. Because it becomes overwhelming at a point, It's always something. It's always something.
Ricardo, I was talking to somebody just about the news, and I was saying to them, it's going through 3 stories from 3 different news agencies, and I'm like, nothing positive happened today. Yeah. Nothing positive happened. It was just a slew of just all the things that are wrong in the world, and I'm like, this is quite heavy. If this is the content that you take in when you turn the news on, this is just some heavy content. You're there.
Imagine those of us who have to write it.
Yeah.
Day in, day out.
Yeah. Wow.
It's 5 minutes after 7. It's time for you to have your say. 630-9371 to 4618-8255. Soon come.
Access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link? Tune in to Outside with Pepita on Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Get ready for the ultimate aviation experience. Come see thrilling aircraft displays, cutting-edge technology, and meet industry experts shaping the future of flight. From aviation professionals to curious explorers, there's something for everyone. Don't miss this high-flying event. Mark your calendars for October 4 at Tinson Pen Aerodrome, where Jamaica's skies come alive. Tune in to Outside with Pepita, Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. It's the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Catch us live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the School of Aviation. The judiciary of Jamaica is bringing the courts to you. The Public Education Day kicks off on Wednesday, October 8, 2025 at the St. Anne Family Court starting at 9 a.m. Then stay tuned as Cliff Hughes Online broadcasts live from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. under the theme, Your Court, Your Voice, Building Trust Through Knowledge. Students and residents are invited to discover the free services your courts provide. On-site support will also be available from the Ministry of Justice, the TAJ, RGD, CPFSA, Jamaica Customs Agency, NIS and PATH, Hard Trust NSTA, Restorative Justice, and other key partners. Don't miss this chance to learn, engage, and access essential services all in one place. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Wednesday, October 8, 2025 at the St. Anne Family Court. It's the Public Education Day. Catch us live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Judiciary of Jamaica, a world-class judiciary utilizing innovation and technology for efficient service delivery.
It's 8 minutes after 7 and we're taking your calls on today. Is that Friday?
No, today's Thursday.
That's crazy. Today's not Friday?
I wish. Trust.
I was about to say this Friday. Oh,
no,
God,
it's Thursday.
Omalo, it's not Friday, Omalo.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ricardo, please, I'm asking you for some time to let me try and understand Mr. Mafu and the chairman from EPAC. You spoke to him today?
No, it wasn't the chairman of EPAC. It was the fiscal commissioner, Courtney Williams.
Fiscal commission. Yeah. Let me understand both. Yeah. Cause I'm a little bit confused. Mr. Mafu spoke about the wage bill.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's suggesting also to put a cap on it.
Yeah.
And today we heard from the chairman of
the fiscal commissioner. Yeah.
And he is also think that is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
At one point he said that the government, when it comes on to capital spending, I think the government is a little bit over ambitious with what they propose at airtime and cannot really spend that money.
Based on the capacity, can't execute it.
Can't execute it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm hearing that the government budget wage bill is crowding out other areas.
Nice.
What other areas are they crowding out if they can't really spend the capital fund? Could you explain that?
That's Mahfoud. You want us to interpret what Mr. Mahfoud meant?
No, I'm going to go to Mr. Mahfoud, but
isn't he the one who said that?
The crowding out. Today, Mr. said, Mr. Mahfoud and him also said that Mr. Mahfoud said there's a crowding out of investment towards other areas. Mm-hmm. Could you tell me, when you can't spend the capital fund, what is it that you're crowding out?
I don't know.
You can. Okay, all right. Let's go back to Mr. Mafu and the same and Mr. Fiscal Commission. What do in a free and open market, as the illusion say we have a free and open market? I was talking about last night. What do laborer bring to the market?
What do you mean?
What do they bring? What do they sell to the market?
You mean outside of their labor?
No, not outside of their labor. They bring their labor. That's what they're selling.
Right, their skill. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and we are hearing that there to put a cap on the people in Jamaica when it's the best time for Jamaicans because demand outweighs supply, and this is where they have an advantage to sell their labor. In a free and open market, we don't hear Mr. Mahfoud talking about putting a cap on what he's selling. We don't.
Omala, if I could stop you there for a second.
Okay.
The argument from the fiscal commissioner and Mr. Mahfoud is about public sector wages and the amount, the percentage. So Mr. Mahfoud, a part of his argument that he spoke of yesterday morning was that he was saying that more of the public sector should go in the private sector because unemployment. I'm just telling you what he said.
No,
he said unemployment is low. Yeah,
that's why I'm reasoning with you because I understand what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying laborers bring their workers bring their labor to the market, and labor. If it's my labor that I'm bringing, and I'm not asking for government to cap what business people are selling, or put cap on nothing that the business people are doing within the market, especially even the banks and stuff. Why are we asking to put cap on labor? Whether it's coming from the government, why Mr. Mahfoud them don't raise their wages and take off government workers from government? Why they don't wage their wages and say all the teachers that are leaving, we're going to convert you to work in our corporations? Why it is not so? Why we supposed to put cap on people that the only thing that they have in this market is their labor? Why? Can anybody explain to the Jamaican people that the only thing they have to negotiate and get a good money out of this market is their labor? Just like all the corporations can sell their products. And when anybody says the price is going up, it's a free market, it's a free market. Why it's not a free market when the people are selling their labor? Is it not a free market? Is it not supply and demand? That's how the market works, right, Ricardo?
Mm-hmm.
And
or how it should work.
And Ricardo is saying that Cliff is trying to hire workers and there is a shortage of journalists. And Ricardo said, okay, I have an advantage. I'm asking for so and so. And Cliff said, I need you. Come in, I'm paying you. Mr. Mafu wants workers. And he said teachers are leaving here. They can convert it. These are brilliant, bright people to work in this place. Why they don't offer better wage? Why they want to always benefit from the oppression of the people? Why it's an extractive economy all the time to benefit them? And when the first time the unemployment is low and the people can negotiate for a better job, they are asking the government to do something. But I'm just glad that the government is not listening to these whole colonial independent Jamaica.
You don't have to do the colonial part. You don't have to do that. You disagree with
him. You mean you have to put in that part?
Yeah, you disagree with him, yes.
Yeah, because it is really upsetting.
And I understand.
As to see that Jamaicans now have an opportunity to use their labor and ask for a better wage. And these people are asking government to cap the people. And we don't ask government to say the supermarket prices are too expensive. JPS prices are too expensive. These prices, the banks are giving us, could you dictate to the bank? We hear it's free market. So let the free market reign when it's wages also too. It's demand and supply.
All right,
Tell
Omalo.
these people to leave off the people of Jamaica back, man.
All right, I gave you a run. Thanks for the call, Omalo.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick time signal and come back.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 15 minutes after 7. Michael.
No, 63092. Hey, Michael, how you do?
You're up in the mountain here, Alice, man. The next brethren, what's going on, sir?
Well, go on, my general.
I hope you're in the Blue Mountain here, Alice, man.
A long time I look at them side there, no?
A long time I come up in the mountain. Up in the mountain, fresh and everything up here near plants pretty right now.
Yeah, man, I forgot to take a hike one of them there, man.
Yeah, man.
How the rain up there?
Man, I tell you, man, one of the nicest rain season, man. Up to yesterday, only 2 days rain no fall.
Nice and cool, you know.
Yeah, but the only thing you know, you see through the never fix the road. The water take the road, and match up the road, some of that like rather, car 2 piece of road up here, the main road with the asphalt, and go over with the Flamstead, and the farm road from Flamstead where we cross to all, go to up all them things there. Yeah, and it's crop season now, you know, the farmers and can't get out them things out of the farm, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, cause even yesterday, you know, was our festival, you know.
Coffee festival?
Coffee festival, man.
Yeah.
Coffee festival, down Emancipation Park.
Oh, yes, so you make a money, man. You eat a food.
No, me never really turn up, you know, but me know so well.
They all enough turn up and every night you complain about the price of the coffee. And you know go.
Hear what's going on, and when me hear say it go on, you know. it was later when you check a stop the rain falling.
Oh, okay, so it miss you.
Yeah, but anyway, they have a nice time there, you know. The next time you must try no and go there, you know.
You know, so I don't really drink coffee, but yeah, me can go, yes.
Yeah, me real myself, me not drink coffee, but me plant coffee.
I get you.
Alright, now you see the road, see the bridge, when you always tell you about from Daisy Seal to Daisy Seal and Robert
Yes.
Seal and where you call it the Ice District in Jamaica, West Seal and California. In the rain, we're going over the, you know, much children don't get to go to school and then school fees. Pay everything, man, because of the river, man. You never remember when you take out and show say, you can't cross it, that's a cross.
Oh, other road there?
Other same river than you tell you from them time.
Nobody cannot cross it. The bus can't swim.
Aye.
All right, Michael, here you on the road.
Yes, so look here, mother, like, I don't know who control it, you know, but whosoever control them is, you know, say, just need a bridge. And the next one, quick, you see, to go up at the Blue Mountain peak it still. Yeah, place near Adlis Gap. And Adlis Gap. We'll go to the Blue Mountain. So Warmington, he leave a money that is to build a bridge, you know. That before the tear were going to Garden Town, you know, when the tear were going to Garden Town, nothing couldn't pass the deliver it, and from then time, not going about it, you know, sir. Some would like to know, so whosoever control it, comes to Warmington, leaves the money to do it. Whosoever control it, would like to check them out and let them know, so those people need them things.
All right, Michael, hear you.
Yeah, because that road, that is the boat place when I tell you is a tourist residential farming area. Yeah, so that bridge where we go to the peak, Adlis Gap. Yeah, Adlis Gap, Penline, Castle and all those things, place there. Would I like it, come Mr. Warmington leave it.
All right, Michael, hear you.
I hear up the coffee farm over there, the one where they run from university and time, you know, but time of the name, you know, Dr. Walter Rodney, remember him?
Yes, man.
Yeah, well, I used up and some call him Dr. Walter Rodney, he's a coffee farmer.
All right, Michael.
I hear up Michael, I hear up Burchell and the crew, the Bubba Pool, and have a guest house up there, you know, they go up then the next car to straight to the peak, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call, Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, man, have a good evening.
You too.
All the best.
All right. Just before I go to Del, YouTubers, I want to tell you something. Sandra, I want to tell you something. I haven't said it yet. But YouTubers, can you guess who came to visit me at home? Any guesses?
I don't want to call any names.
YouTubers, I was at home.
Before you go into that, Ricardo,
yes.
I dare say when you were missing for your birthday, that period of you being missing.
Somebody else was missing as well?
There in the chat, there are specific people, Damien, that you know are in the chat. There was a name in the chat, Damien.
Anyway,
that mentions Ricardo all the time. And guess what? The name of that person was missing.
Well,
the same time.
I can tell you, she came to visit me at home. YouTubers, I have met Marigold. I was at home. Yes, Damien shocked. Damien had a manhood business. I'm here, peep.
No, you're acting like this is brand new. Remember, I said it before.
I looked out and I saw a lovely lady, and she said, "Do you know who I am?" I said, "I don't." And the more I stared, the more she stared back at me. Marigold. Marigold is lovely. So I have met Marigold YouTubers. So it's no longer virtual. The love is real. The love is real. Del, good evening. Del? No, not hearing Del. 630-937-124 618-8255.
Wow. Carl.
Evening.
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 How you doing, my friend?
Me there, man. You can hear my voice up, man.
Yes, me did realize. Here, you know. Your voice here go on there.
Yeah, man, because all up to the 17th and the 18th, anyway, me see come with them, me still have to rub it in, say, call it, Andrew, call it.
Say, they provoke the comrade, then I say,
I don't must provoke them, man. Me see all one all up to yesterday, me say, take off in a band, meet me 2031.
Maybe that 2031.
Then at the time my next election, man.
2030.
2031. 2031 is September. Check it.
Well, I suppose.
Right.
5 years.
Anyhow.
Well, okay.
Right. Anyhow, Mr. Mahfoud, John Mahfoud, want to. The problem that Mr. John Mahfoud is having, and he want the public sector them to guard the yard, is that Mr. John Mahfoud have to be hiring people now and have to be paying security guard. And that's why the unemployment rate is down to 3.3%. In the 90s, Mr. Mahfoud could have locked down some of his business and lend him money and don't give a damn about it. And tomorrow evening, Mr. Mahfoud could have put on his baby socks and his chuck shoes and jump on an aeroplane and go play golf. No, the government is not hungry for Mr. John Mahfoud money. So that is his problem. Can you imagine if we never make the right decision September 3rd and this foolishness come back around again? So all you hear my talk that and a little 10% where the government did tax if you're carrying goods from overseas. Mr. Mahfoud will have to move it also. For what, Mr. Mahfoud? When people did have supermarket, then get for them benefit now, Mr. Mahfoud. The tourism people get for them to know, Mr. Mahfoud. So why you want to take with the little people that when you look on Saturday and in a week you see them come up with a little grey plastic bag under their arm?
Are them bucks?
Thank you very much. So why, Mr. Mahfoud, look at the logic when I try to show you know. Is that these people, the man in Tapanaris friend, they must be upper Tapanaris and the lower class must be lower down on the Tapanaris. Then if he can't carry nothing, they must only come to Mr. Mahfoud, John Mahfoud, business place at all times. Then can do as he have a mind.
So you think this is a class issue?
It's not a class issue. But here, having these little people can carry something from Amazon and those things, Mr. Mahfoud doesn't like that. If you notice what he said yesterday, man, and nation, he said, don't his wife and his daughter have a problem with him, trying to ask for that. But Ricardo and Sanjay, here we come up in a problem now. And I'm going to tell you it now. You know, say them PMP here. Dana Scott Matley and one next lawyer man. He to say Andrew Wallace is an idiot and Camilla Johnson Smith. I don't know what they feel to say. Them is in government. Let me tell you something, Sanjay and Ricardo. If you have Andrew and Camilla Johnson Smith did walk out, by next year March, PMP would have out a road and demonstrate that people can't get no visa. And if you touch Jamaica visa, you're in a problem. Did they remember what they happened to Bruce Collins? The same type of argument they did as well? PMP not come out a campaign yet. And what PMP is looking at now was to say they couldn't chop Andrew there, so. That's if they get to chop him, they only want 4 seats to form government. 4 no more seats. And can you imagine them go to road and they just get to sell that? And Jamaica people hitch on that? We tell you, so we'd have to look on an election pretty early. And anyhow somebody sensible for the PMP decide to sell that. With that in a problem. And Jamaica people love them visa. Don't play.
No, I agree with you, Carl. I agree with you, and that's why I said the wild idealism that I'm seeing just don't make any sense to me, because the same set of people would have turned around and complain.
Thank you. I mean, in the last month, I get a work from down here early morning. The job care of some people go up there. And they never have a problem for me to sit there and wait till they go. And out of the 6 of them, 4 get them visa. And the one of them cry right back to Clarendon here. I give her a shamai. Like Irago she have couldn't wipe the water. Because she not get her visa. So what Donna Scott Mackley and Bert Samuels them did a try to see if they can do. Them still in a campaign now. Because I know them can't upset say them lose election. Me see on TikTok we want lawyer man also saying doctor asking. Say how you walk so fast and where I run I go? He said me have to run man. Because in a few hours from now Mark Jefferson Golding will be Prime Minister. Mark Jefferson Golding is opposition leader. We're not even sure if I'm my opposition leader right now.
Mr. Golding is the opposition leader.
Carl, we're not sure yet.
We are sure. The Governor General has appointed Mr. Golding the leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition.
In November we know what o'clock I say.
You go on. All right, Carl, I hear you.
November me I got a conference. All road lead to the National Arena.
Lord, liberate them a Lego.
Lord, they will have on 3rd term.
Good.
And we have 3 opposition leaders.
There is 1 opposition leader.
Ricardo.
Goodbye, Carl. Goodbye, Carl.
Ricardo, you can't left me there.
Only Mr. Golding has been duly appointed to lead the parliamentary opposition.
Ricardo, you
are pushing mischief. Only Mr. Golding leads the opposition.
Simpson Miller, and we have Peter Phillips.
Goodbye.
Later, Carl.
Goodbye, Carl. Goodbye. 630-937-124-618-8255.
Is Don on with us?
Yes, Don.
Hi, my favorite. How are you?
Right here. What did you guys? Wait, me go. You know, so me could present some more Sandra. You know, seen the evening program.
I don't know. Them draw me out in a Don.
Promotion drop. You better say thank God.
No, listen. I'm a loyal NTM, you know. Draw me out, Don. Draw me out. No, true. But Ricardo saying him I love the evening program more.
How are you, Don?
I am thankful. Hey, tell my boy don't come back here, yeah?
You know, I was pointing out, Ricardo, that somebody in the chat, somebody said they're going to look for you next.
Yeah? And you know something? I got to lock off my person on the road at Bull Day. And nobody can cross it.
Yeah.
No, I heard something on the news and I can't believe it.
What's that?
Where the PNP objecting to the sanctioning of the doctor. Something that's the truth?
Yeah.
So you mean that you're about Dean Jones of a down?
Yes, that's the one where the Chief Justice ordered the election.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, can you imagine if these people were government? What would have happened to Jamaica? Well, I thank God Jamaica people are there right by people. And you know something? I keep saying it. I said it yesterday and I'm going to say it again. I am not advising. I am asking the Prime Minister not to follow the people and go and appoint any of those opposition people as chairman to any committee. And what people are saying, but Bruce Golding started it. When Bruce Golding was Prime Minister, Bruce Golding did not have a hostile opposition. Bruce Golding has somebody, is like somebody who's over the opposition bench now, is like the person in the White House. You're talking about 2 different Jamaica. It is not. You see the posture of those people, though? You see their posture?
Mm-hmm.
So we imagine you go put them to tell something. God have mercy upon Jamaica. You think we'd have go forward? A strictly backward movement would have had. And it is not going to happen. And I heard you small the other day as well. Ricardo, come off of your phone and tell me what you small said.
About what?
You never hear you small have said that the constitutional...
Oh, should not be led by a politician. And let me just say something. Let me just say something. If whenever you all see me on my phone, I'm doing work. I'm actually editing a story. I'm not ignoring you. Okay.
No, you
right. I'm actually editing a story as we speak.
But
yes.
I still like your undivided attention.
You have it, man. You have it. I paid attention.
Can you imagine? We vote for the government. And you small come say no. You small put him in ballot. The first time you put him in ballot, Captain will beat him out of his things when no jail pay ever win yet. And now you small coming to say that no government member, it must not be, who must do it? You know I'm happy about?
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that we have a young, bright Prime Minister. Lord God bless Andrew Holness. May he live long. Because I can't say 2031 because it's the fourth term loaded now. That third term loaded already. But it is not going to happen. Thank God for Andrew Holness and then never walk out.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot walk out and get any redress. You must have a seat at the table. You know, one time there was something, a function, and I was so upset and I never go to the function. You know something? Everybody go to the function and it's cheap. And I learned that in future, you sit at the table and you say, but you don't walk out because it don't make any sense. And I think the government is doing the right thing. And as I tell Ricardo, I love him undivided attention because he's my peace. So take care of yourself, young men, and have a great day. And Sandra,
yes.
You just get promotion drop.
All right, dog. All right, Grant. Evening.
Ricardo, good night. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yes, I'm Mr. Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Ricardo, I called you to talk about Mr. Mahfoud. But let me say this before. This election that just passed, everything has been set up for the PNP to take this election. Everything set up for the PNP to take this election. Remember, I don't say win,
Mm-hmm.
Everything was set up for the PNP to take this election. Some powerful money spent from some powerful people for the PNP take this election. But if you remember what Mr. Andrew Holness has said, he said to the PNP, no weapon that form against him shall prosper. Is the act of God carry Andrew, carry JLP to victory in this election?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe that. That's what I believe. Yeah, man, everything set up for the PNP to take the election, but them couldn't overcome the greater power. Let me say this about Mr. Mahfoud.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ricardo, I tried to have this discussion before, and that young man that was working with it at the time, I can't remember his name, he took up the argument and him totally confused the context of which I was trying to speak. Let me ask you something. What Mr. Mahfoud, what position the private sector played in the 90s in that devastation economy? Do you remember?
Tell us.
What position and what advice were they given to the government during the 90s?
Tell me now.
Hello?
Tell me.
I'm asking. I'm not so bright like you, Ricardo. That's why I'm asking questions. You know if they were giving the government any advice?
Well, yes, it was private sector that organized the deals and everything, so they were giving some aspects of it. They gave advice, yes.
What type of advice they gave?
Well, of course, we know DBNG, they were advisors to the government at the time.
So, and the advice they give the economy go down into such a great downfall.
Bad policies at the time, bad policies.
I hear of this man, Mr. Mahfoud, when I hear him speak. You remember he was advising the governor of the Bank of Jamaica to increase interest rates some time ago. Could you imagine if it was the PNP in the government at the time? Could you imagine what would happen? Let me tell you something. Some of our intention is to control government to suit themselves. That's what they control the PNP. They were some of the problem during the 90s because they were making a lot of money during the 90s by loaning the government money and then receive back a large sum of money in interest rate. And they did love that. Yearly they used to boast so much $1 billion a year they make in the 90s while the economy was going down. And I know Andrew Holness is a very smart young man. And he's a man, he don't talk and run up in mouth, but let me tell you something. Them can't kill Mr. Andrew Holness. They can't frighten him with no advice. Andrew Holness not going to take any advice. Because right now, Mr. Ricardo, you see many of what's going on? They're trying to get the government in a position, even about this Gaza thing, but they never walk out or whatever. You know, they're trying to get the government in a position that they can say by 3 years' time, now they can force the government to call an election. Because they still have to.
I'm not hearing. His line has dropped. See if you. His line has dropped. Hello? Oh. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back with you.
Tune in to Outside with Pepita on Saturday, October 4th from 3 to 6 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Get ready for the ultimate aviation experience. Come see thrilling aircraft displays, cutting-edge technology, and meet industry experts shaping the future of flight. From aviation professionals to curious explorers, there's something for everyone. Don't miss this high-flying event. Mark your calendars for October 4 at Tinson Penn Aerodrome, where Jamaica's skies come alive. Tune in to Outside with Pepita, Saturday, October 4 from 3 to 6 p.m. It's the Aviation Expo 2025 at the School of Aviation. Catch us live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the School of Aviation. The judiciary of Jamaica is bringing the courts to you. The Public Education Day kicks off on Wednesday, October 8, 2025 at the St. Anne Family Court starting at 9 a.m. Then stay tuned as Cliff Hughes Online broadcasts live from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. under the theme Your Court, Your Voice, Building Trust Through Knowledge. Students and residents are invited to discover the free services your courts provide. On-site support will also be available from the Ministry of Justice, the TAJ, RGD, CPFSA, Jamaica Customs Agency, NIS and PATH, Hard Trust NSTA, Restorative Justice, and other key partners. Don't miss this chance to learn, engage, and access essential services all in one place. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Wednesday, October 8, 2025 at the St. Anne Family Court. It's the Public Education Day. Catch us live on our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2, or stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Judiciary of Jamaica, a world-class judiciary utilizing innovation and technology for efficient service delivery.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Welcome back. It is 15 minutes to 8. We're still on the N at 5. And of course, we're taking calls. Our studio line 630-9371-4 618-8255. I know we've been having a lot of conversation about what has been happening the international stage, the UNGA, and the perception of whether or not there should have been a walkout. There's been a lot of conversation about it, and I asked a question yesterday morning. It's a simple question, asking listeners and callers and YouTubers, what would it benefit Jamaica as an international actor in diplomacy and international affairs if Jamaica walked out? What would it have benefited Jamaica? That's the question I have for you now. That doesn't preclude or include the fact that the opposition has an opposing comment. People can have opposing comments. People can have views as it relates to perception. But the question is, what benefit would it have to Jamaica if Jamaica were to get up and walk out in that moment as other countries did? And I want to see those answers in the chat. I think Bobby is on live and direct with me. Evening to you, Bobby.
Good evening, Sandra. Good evening to my good friend Ricardo.
Ricardo stepped out, so
stepped out.
Yeah, it's just me and you right now.
No, look here. I know I'm stepped out, I feel good, man, because Queen come and check him while he's on leave, man. I know Ricardo, man. You see, if that Queen never come and check him, I'll know him would sit down.
Him would sit down, don't it?
Yeah, man.
It's from him birthday week. This is going on, Bobby. From him birthday week, we realize the trend, the pattern. So now that he said it, that she popped up, how did she know where exactly his house is? Those are the questions I have for him, but I'll leave him before now, eh?
The only thing I would say, Sandra, about that is I'm just cleaning my throat. Yes, I just want to say something, Mrs. Andre. God forbid, you see, on September 3, if the majority of Jamaicans wasn't using them head and never put in this government led by Andrew Holness in office, you see, make I tell you something. Dog would name our supper, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and leave out there in the dark. If they had go and put in the opposition in government. You see, if Jamaica had walked out of that UN summit, right, make I tell you, it would have spilled a bad light in the long run for us here on this little piece of rock.
What do you mean?
Because, look here, that only goes to show that, look, Jamaica wouldn't be collaborating to really have peace over there between Gaza and Israel, and to ask Israel to release those Palestinians, right, who they held as hostage. We cannot put fluid to the fire. So when Donna Scott Montley and the PMP is there criticizing the government, you know, how they should walk out and think, I wonder if they realize that to really catch a wild animal, you cannot use excessive force.
But Bobby, would they have walked out? That's another question to ask. Would they have walked out? We don't know. We literally don't know.
Sandra, you see, what I'm observing, you see, if the Holness administration had walked out, one, and if the Holness administration had taken the advice from Mafu, soon and later, the PMP would have found something to campaign and to force the government to call an early election. Because this is what they would have campaigned on and so on. But thank God, God has given us a well-educated, brilliant Prime Minister, a Prime Minister who cares for the people of Jamaica by the name of Andrew Michael Holness. I know Mr. Holness will not take that type of advice to send home people at them yard. No, he will not do that. I have seen, since Mr. Holness become Prime Minister, a number of things happen in this country. Parents who cannot afford to send their children to school, who cannot afford lunch money and things, the PATH program had increased. He had said to the school administrators like myself, said, look here, parents who can afford to pay the school fee and the auxiliary fee, please to pay it. But those who cannot afford to pay it, we must not deny them.
Bobby, I don't want to cut in, but let me squeeze two more now.
Right. So I just want to say to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, continue doing the good work and please continue to take positive advice. Okay then, thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Bobby. Next caller, we have Michael. Good evening, Michael.
Hello. Good evening, sir. First time calling.
Good to have you here on Nationwide at 5.
Yeah, but and it's my show. I listen every day, night and day. Yeah. Anyway, I'm calling from Southeast Center. And there, this workers of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Wait, pause. Which part of Southeast Center? Lidford? Golden Grove?
Right, you're correct.
All right, go ahead.
But the MP, the army caretaker who running the election, from after election night, we don't see him and nobody can get paid.
That's Mr. Peart.
Exactly. So I want Mr. Holness to listen and ask Mr. Peart what is the position and the payment for the workers in Southeast Center, yeah?
So you said there's some unfinished business there in Southeast Center?
Concerning payment. No one gets paid as yet. And the people are complaining.
Yeah, that's something that have to be sorted out because people can't do work and don't get paid.
Yes, so the hierarchy of the Labour Party, I hope they're listening, because the people them say they're not coming back to work for nobody. It is the second time it's happened, they're not working again for no one.
That's concerning. That's concerning.
Yes.
Well, I hope the relevant or the higher powers are listening from your party and they'll respond forthwith.
Okay, sir. On the roads, they are especially in Golden Grove.
Yeah.
Children are going to school, they have to walk in the water.
I know those roads. I know those roads very well.
No, man, it's bad, man.
Yeah.
You want some attention, it's urgent attention, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much for your listening.
All right, no problem. Thank you, Michael. Who do we have next? All right, So I'm going to go in the chat. I'm going to go in the chat really quickly. I saw a conversation. Well, I saw a member of the chat posting saying benefit or principle. So the question being posed, and I'm throwing this at the chat: benefit or principle. And that is on the basis, as it relates to international affairs, when you talk about the principle surrounding an action. And what I heard Minister Johnson Smith articulate, and I'll repeat her statement, I won't say it's verbatim, but she said Jamaica doesn't practice performative diplomacy. Jamaica prefers to be seated at the table. Now that is interesting in the sense that that alludes to the fact that the 77 out of the 93, 77 out of the 193, pardon me, that 77 countries that walked out, that's the count, right? We don't have, well, I haven't seen a full official list, but that's the count from Israel. The media spaces in Israel, that's the count they gave, about 77 countries that walked out. Of course, we know about 4 of them would be nations from the region. And what is the principle? That's the question I'll ask then, because somebody say, what is the benefit? Maybe you're asking the wrong question, Sondre Roden. You should be asking the question, what is the principle? I said benefit because I was considering what did it benefit the countries in the fight to get to peace and stability and to save lives. What did it benefit in the fight? What did it move in the needle towards peace? What difference was made when the countries got up and walked out? I asked that question because the very same countries have sat down when other world leaders who had performed similar actions got up and spoke at similar events. The very same countries sat down, had meetings, still have diplomatic relationships and relations with countries that have performed similar actions that would have allowed them to be considered by the International Criminal Court as criminals, and these countries have relations with them. So yes, when I see comments coming out, I dare say to you listeners, filter the comments that come out, because I am not so sure that if the opposition were government, if the roles were reversed, that they would have walked out either. Because you don't sit down and then say, oh, okay, we're going to walk out because this is what will happen if we walk out. If I see a real reason to the walkout, meaning these 77 countries walked out and then you heard that there was a brokering of a ceasefire because of the walkout and there's greater peace. And when I see the comparison to the whole time period of apartheid South Africa, different time period, different movement, different actions, different type of diplomacy, and we now live in a way more multipolar world, so it is different, and that is why diplomacy stays at the table. So yes, there can be criticism. Yes, I heard the statements as well from the learned attorneys, and that does not change the fact that diplomacy is something that you really have to manage. It's relationships between countries, and that is something that has to be managed properly. So when you look at it, you have to ensure that you filter as a reader, as a listener, and see how does it impact you? Because a lot of Jamaicans don't really consider the diplomatic relations as the most important things to them, because we think about, the bread on our table, the road, the light, the water. That's what we think about. But it's still important, and we have to think how it really works for us. But that's all the time we have this evening, and I'll diplomatically say I want to thank my amazing producer, Dana Davey, and Damien is still here, even though I have not seen him at his usual place, but he's here, of course, our technical operator. Ricardo is here with me, not right beside him, but he's here with me. Had to sort out some news items to go out soon, and of course that's Nationwide at 5. It's good having you with us, our listeners, our viewers. You know what it is. It's Nationwide, and it's Revo.ai. Have a good evening.
I'm Dennis Brooks.